So here we are at the Temple of Diana in Cefalù in northern Sicily. So this is such an impressive place. I mean, if we just walk along here, you can just see the size of these stones. The alignment of its entrance, the main entrance, is to the equinox, is the setting sun. But there are large megalithic slabs, like a dolmen-like structure. Then this thing may have been built around it, this Temple of Diana, and like a big, almost like a T-pillar holding it up. So here we are at the Temple of Diana in Cefalù, in northern Sicily. This is halfway up the Rocca Cefalù, the giant rock that dominates the town next to the beach. But this is a fairly small cyclopean and polygonal walled temple here, halfway up the hill before you get to the main castle. It could date back to the 9th century BC, although even saying that, it could be older. But you can clearly see major stonework here, which just doesn't fit with the kind of theme and era, but it fits in with the Italian megaliths of like Alatri, Ferentino and so forth. But it's also thought to be a Greek temple, so we get this kind of thing in Greece as well. All the way around here, both sides and through the middle, we have some remarkable construction. So what they found now is that it's 11.5 meters wide and 6.5 meters high, but could have been much, much taller. Now there probably would have been other layers on top, and this has kind of caused some confusion. But what they were impressed by the fact that it survived up until the early 20th century, where it's still intact, and it was kind of being used as a watchtower. But they think it's a sacred function. There's nothing really useful here, like practical, and it's evidenced by its reuse. And even in the early Middle Ages, it was the foundation of the Church of St. Venera. And it's shown in recent studies, the alignment of its entrance, the main entrance, is to the equinox, is the setting sun, but also the planet Venus, although I'm not too sure about that, whether it was setting or rising. But there are large megalithic slabs, like a dolmen-like structure, and they believe the earliest phase is 8th to the 9th century BC, but of course it could be older because dolmens are known to be from the Bronze Age, even the Neolithic times as well. But we know this port was used by the Phoenicians and other cultures, possibly the Pelasgians, who are most likely the builders, like they are in Italy. So this is such an impressive place. I mean, if we just walk along here, you can just see the size of these stones. Having like myself in front of it gives a good impression of the scale. You can see some of the details, like the little V's there, the kind of shaping on it. And it just continues all the way around here. Some are really kind of protruding and sticking out, while others are kind of fairly flat. So we're just going around the edge of the site here. I just want to have a look, see if there's any interesting features. Look, we've got a nice cornering here, especially on the lower blocks. You can see that, right? It's kind of shaping, almost like you get a Baalbek actually. And you've got a little lizard down there. But you can see some of these are very bulbous if you look at it from the edge. They're not perfectly flat, but these are, you know, polygonal stones. They aren't just randomly cyclopean or anything like that. But then saying that, as you walk around here, you see these more puffy kind of polygonal shapes. And this would have stood 6.5 meters high. So those are what, nearly 20 feet. So it's quite a bit taller than what it is now. Then you have this area around the back, which clearly was added later. If we go in here, you can actually see a very interesting feature I want to look at. Because we have what almost looks like a dolmen on top there. You can see the back of the main wall there. And so you can see even there, we've got gigantic blocks just around the back of it. Now it's been reconstructed partly, even up there as well. But for now, I just want to show you some stuff around here, because this is really interesting. The way the stone is shaped here. There's a bit of stone missing there. So that is like beautifully kind of cut, polygonal style. But yeah, and this is the feature here. I find this very intriguing. I don't think that was originally a gap there. Almost looks like the eye of Isis. But yeah, but look, the blocks here are just remarkable. And then you have little details in some of the stones here, like the shaping of them. This is where it gets very similar to other parts of Italy and Greece. And this is the giant stone here, the one on the end. Apart from the dolmen, I think that was here originally, which has been destroyed, only parts of it are left. Could have been even bigger, the stones. But it does prove that this could be a Bronze Age, even a Neolithic site. So let's have a look around this side first, and then we'll go inside and have a good look and see what's on display. But look at the way these are protruding out here. There's like nubs. It's almost like a nub. Also, you have this shaping here on the edges to kind of keep it neat and tidy, which kind of goes with the doorway here. If we go inside, it gets even more impressive. Let me show you. Look, you've got a huge stone at the base here, huge lintel stone, and giant polygonal blocks on top. So this is clearly the kind of doorway here. Now, what's really interesting about this is that this orientates almost exactly west. Now, before these pine trees were planted here a few hundred years ago, it would have been a clear view of the sea and also the horizon which the sea would form. At the very back of this, it looks just like a load of bricks at the moment. There's actually like a dolmen, like a kind of megalithic chamber with a porthole stone facing west or east, but we think it's facing west. And also a huge carved out chamber out of the solid rock here, which we'll have a look at. This is the dolmen area. This is the top, literally the top of the dolmen here. So this is it. This is the top, I believe. All these lintel stones here make up the kind of top part of this kind of chamber, which has been carved out of rock beneath us here, and has a column upright holding it all up. So there's a story that this was actually a dolmen site first. Then this thing may have been built around it, this Temple of Diana, because this is some kind of cistern or water collecting place. There's the capstone, but then down there, you can't get in there unfortunately. Look at that, you've got like a column of megaliths right there. And like a big, almost like a T-pillar holding it up. Can you see that? This is carved out of bedrock, it seems, as well. So you've got this column here, and you've got like a larger block on top which holds up this massive dolmen stone, or a couple of dolmen stones at the very top. And this is all carved out. Very, very interesting. And this being one of the dolmen stones itself. Oh, look at that. That I didn't expect to see. Almost like a porthole stone there. Look at that. So that could be this could have been like a burial chamber, like a megalithic dolmen burial chamber type thing. You've got the entrance stone possibly there, and you've got all this just here. So this could be the top of like a major megalithic chamber. Wow. And then that would have been aligned to the west, because the whole temple is facing west. So maybe this was an equinox megalithic chamber that became the Temple of Diana later. So I've just cleared away some of the bush a little bit. And look at that. You can clearly see that's like one half of a porthole stone facing west this way and east the other way. Look, but look, you've got a stone on one side there. You've got a stone just here as well. And you've got the porthole stone there. So you would have been behind it up there, looking through it, possibly. Now, we must see if there's any more megalithic blocks up there, because it could have been a larger complex. Just to summarise, so you've got that there. Then this leads into this. And this is where, underneath there, you've got a giant space carved out with like a column of 2 or 3 monoliths holding up these larger stones. And then you've got the main Temple of Diana. So we're just next to the kind of dolmen-like structure here. It's all been built up, and then we kind of walk down into the smaller room just on one side of the Temple of Diana. Look at some of these blocks here. I mean, just these are gigantic. This is proper megalithic. But are these the same builders who made the walls around the edge of the town, or around the beach, or is it a whole different thing? So they're almost merging it, as you can see down there, they're merging it with the bedrock as well. Then you have these very neat and tidy kind of lintels and doorways. But here's just on top of them, I can't see any keystone cuts or anything. But still, nonetheless, this is a fascinating sight. So in this smaller room here, just looking at some of the stones. Now it's kind of cyclopean. Oh, there's another hold stone there, look at that. That looks like it's been carved out. Interesting. But yeah, clearly this is seriously megalithic. But fundamentally, this is polygonal megalithic temple, like we find on mainland Italy, Greece, now Tarragona in Spain and a few other places. Absolutely beautiful. Let's just walk out the front. Without those trees there, which were added much later, they would have been a beautiful view of the Western Sea. It's just such an impressive place. It's such a treat to be in this part of beautiful Sicily, just to see, finding something like this. Plus we have all the walls around the coast, which are over kind of towards the north, which will be that direction. And so they look like they're the same builders who did that, and also the other sites in Italy. So I hope you enjoyed our visit to this Temple of Diana in Cefalù. I'm just blown away by the walls here. They always impress me, just like the ones in Italy, all around the Mediterranean, Greece and other places. But it's a real treat to be, and I think this is clearly the same culture. Well, that was an amazing visit. I adore this site, and I've got to thank Gary Biltcliffe for telling me where this is. It's a lot of hiking, but it's worth the effort. So hope you enjoyed this brief visit. We got some aerial shots. We got some close-ups of everything. We looked at the dolmen, possibly in the back, which could date it to a much earlier period. But to find these cyclopean polygonal walls like we find Italy, Greece, and all these other places is such a treat. So thanks for watching Megalithomaniacs, and we'll see you next time.